Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the start of a brand new series. In terms of my channel's history, there is arguably no more beloved concept than Draft to Glory, where you start off with a base level team. We're talking the worst overalls you can get, and only acquire talent through the draft. No free agency, no trading. It is a concept that we have done many, many times on many, many games, NHL included, and it's time that we take it to the next level by taking advantage of NHL 23's custom league. And with that, we now have a 48-team custom league built upon a reborn WHA, the World Hockey Association. It was the only league that really kind of pushed the NHL a little bit for a short time in the 1970s. Ultimately, it led to the NHL adding the Edmonton Oilers, the Hartford Whalers, Quebec Nordiques, and Winnipeg Jets. But the WHA was the home of a lot of high-end talent at one point or another. Numerous Hockey Hall of Famers once played for this league. Most famously, it has to be Wayne Gretzky, Gordie Howe, amongst numerous other Hall of Famers. And what we have done is taken those teams and added a few of our own to help fill out a 48-team league. Now, I say we, special shout out to friend of the channel, Snipe and Score Productions, who helped make the rosters for this. And of course, his rosters are available to download. If you're on an Xbox Series console, just search 48-team custom league or Snipe and Score as the tag. And of course, check out all the other things he's done. I have highlighted his flashback rosters in the past, so make sure to check all of that out if you haven't already done so. And a little bit later on, what we'll do is go through the entire league, essentially, in terms of showing you guys the teams. And I mean, I can do a quick little run through here of the divisions. But in terms of like, okay, the full jersey set, stuff like that, we'll do that at the end of the episode. But what we have here, we have the Howe Conference and the Davidson Conference. The Howe Conference being named, of course, for Gordie Howe. The Davidson being named after Gary L. Davidson, which was the namesake of the Player of the Year award. Of course, Gary Davidson was a co-founder of the WHA. There's no ego stroking there, but we have the Howe and the Davidson. We have the Hunter Division, named after the Bill Hunter Trophy in the WHO is for the leading scorer in the league. In this division, we have the Quebec Nordiques, the New England/Hartford Whalers. New England, of course, is not available as a name. We have the Ottawa Nationals, and a lot of these teams would have been actual WHA teams. Of course, hey, Wikipedia is right there for you if you want to know which ones. Ottawa was a real team for a year. The Hamilton Hounds in Hamilton, Ontario, the Montreal Lions, the Toronto Toros, the Buffalo Bulldogs, and the Cleveland Crusaders. We love ourselves some alliteration, but that is the Hunter Division/North Division. There is the Kaplan Division. Lou Kaplan was the namesake for the trophy that was awarded to the Rookie of the Year. And here we have the Philadelphia Blazers, the New York Golden Blades, the New York Raiders, the New Jersey Knights, the Washington Phoenix, the Columbus Cardinals, the Dayton, Ohio Arrows. Dayton, surprisingly not a name that you can pick, and the Cincinnati Stingers in the Kaplan Division. Over in the third Eastern Conference Division, which is the Howe side of things, we have two conferences, 3 divisions per. We have the Hatskin Division, named after the Ben Hatskin Trophy for Best Goaltender, where we have the Baltimore Blades, the Atlanta Flames, the Miami Screaming Eagles. Screaming Eagles doesn't fit, so the Miami Eagles it is. The Tampa Bay Tidal Wave, the Carolina Centurions, the Birmingham Bulls of Birmingham, Alabama, the New Orleans Swamp Rabbits, and the Nashville Jazz. And yes, I had to give the Blues logo to Nashville just to try to ruffle some feathers. Let me know if it worked. In the Davidson Conference, we start off with the Murphy Division. The Dennis A. Murphy Trophy was the Defender of the Year award in the WHA. We have the Vancouver Vipers, the Portland Axe, the Seattle Spiders, the Edmonton Oilers, of course, the Calgary Broncos, the San Francisco Sharks, the San Jose Grizzlies, and the Las Vegas Tigers. The White Tigers of Las Vegas. The Deneau Division, the Paul Deneau Trophy, was for the most gentlemanly player in the league. We have the Chicago Cougars, the St. Louis Rhythm, the Winnipeg Jets, of course, the Kansas City Kings, the Indianapolis Racers, of course, Wayne Gretzky's WHA team, the Oklahoma City Hogs, the Minnesota Fightin' Saints, shortened to the Minnesota Saints, and the Michigan Stags. And in our final division, the Howard Baldwin Division, the Howard Baldwin Trophy / the Robert Schmertz Memorial Trophy was for Coach of the Year. We have the Denver Spurs, the Dallas Devils, the Anaheim Cool Dogs, the Salt Lake City Pioneers. For those Madden fans that have watched me play Madden over the years, that might be a familiar setup. The Phoenix Roadrunners, the Houston Aeros, the Los Angeles Aces, almost said Vegas, and the San Diego Mariners. And that is this reborn WHA League. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, it's a draft of glory, but there's 48 teams and you're only controlling one of them. How is this going to work? And the answer is, it's going to work, but for a little bit. It should work well, but for a little bit. Now, obviously, you can tell by Oliver Lauridsen being my top player that we have loaded up these rosters and the free agent list essentially with a cap of 69 to 70 overall. So you will not see any teams with super high rated players. Eventually, once we get to the point where some of these free agents are no longer RFAs, yes, the AI will be able to take advantage in free agency, and we'll be able to decide if we want to look to do the same. But what we can do in franchise mode is turn off AI trading. So the AI will not be able to make any trades whatsoever. But there you get a look. 69 overalls are the top rated options in franchise mode. Some starting teams will be worse than others, so keep that in mind. But for the most part, we should be able to pretty much fully replicate the Draft to Glory style for the first little bit. Like I said, free agency, when that comes up, we'll see how it plays out. But certainly for the first few seasons here, the emphasis is going to be on just being able to draft and getting lucky, especially with the lottery, because think of that, there are 48 teams, and we have kept the same amount of playoff teams as we have in the modern NHL. So there's going to be some wild, absolutely wild draft lotteries in terms of how this plays out. But with that said, I feel like most of you here will be familiar with the Draft to Glory concept. Like I said, I do want to scroll through the teams. Allow me to show you, of course, what our starting roster is going to look like here in Hartford. And I was trying to decide what team to use, but the news came out last week that Peter Good, the man behind the Whalers logo, one of the best logos in sports history, had passed away, and that decided it for me. In honor of Peter Good, we're going to take the Whalers back to prominence. But, I mean, you see who we have here, and yeah, it's not pretty. Obviously, we still have the Providence Bruins here for the Whalers. I should go over the AHL as well, actually, really quickly, because we did customize that as well. Obviously, it's tough to kind of work this properly, but we have the Atlantic Division. Lehigh Valley, for example, the Philadelphia Blazers replaced the Flyers. If there was an NHL team and the color scheme was similar or the city name was the same, we went ahead and replaced that. But that is the current Atlantic Division. There is the North Division, in which case we use the Austrian league for the most part to fill out a lot of these divisions, and a couple of Swiss teams as well in the AHL. I like Snipe. I don't hate him, and did not ask him to make sure that we had enough teams for the AHL as well. That would have been a little bit overkill. But yeah, that is the setup, of course, for the AHL as well. 48 teams there now as well, including the Davidson Division, which is outside of Calgary and Abbotsford, all foreign teams that had to be used to fill that out. So let's take a look at what our squad's going to look like here, because I really don't know. I think I will go ahead and try to just make it the best possible team to not immediately tank. I think we'll leave it up to chance. We do have, Lauritsen was a Colorado draft pick. Philadelphia, he did play with Colorado at one point. Adam Olas-Mattsson is here with the Calgary Flames. There'll be some of you who will know that, what European team was used to fill out this roster. We do have Josiah Didier, who had a 68 overall as a top 4 defender in the league, which is great. DJ King as well. I think, why not? Like, as much as I'd love to have a top pick to start things off, wouldn't it be hilarious to win a Stanley Cup in season 1? Might be the time to just push for it. I'm not going to sign any free agents, so we'll just make the most out of the roster that we have here. I'm not going to be able to call up all the 63s, but we can call up a few more options here. Let's send down these 2 depth forwards. Am I putting too much thought into this? Probably. And actually, Joe, you actually won't make the team. So there you go. Jonas Rask, though, is on this team, and he might be our captain. He might be. Ooh, former Portland Pirate Brendan Shinnimin. Never mind, he is our captain. He is 100% our captain. We got to get rid of that minus on the 4th line, please. There we go. Who knows? Maybe this team is somehow good enough to actually do something in season 1. Maybe they are. Now, the last question that you might have is probably in regards to, hey, what's the draft going to look like? And the answer is, well, hey, it's going to be the Connor Bedard draft, and so on and so forth. There wasn't too much we could do about that. No, I hit view draft class. There we go. So yeah, Connor Bedard's there, Leo Carlson. This is based off of EA's most recent roster update, so it's just easier to handle it that way. So if you're wondering how things are set up, then there you go. You got your answer, but that is pretty much it. That is the foundation for what this is going to be. We will kick off our first season and get into our first draft in the next episode. But for those who are interested and wanting to see kind of what Snipe came up with the look here for a lot of these teams, well, stick around and we will go through as fast as we can the 48 teams. And with a lot of these teams, pretty much I told them, like, hey, here's the name, here's the logo I want to use. You come up with the idea. And that is exactly what he did. There are a couple of the logos that I would have changed ever so slightly because I have the ability to do that. But I do like the look for the cool dogs. But yeah, for the most part, again, this would not have been possible without Snipe. He saved me so much time by helping me out with this. And again, he is, as much, if not more so, of a roster guru than I am. I gotta be honest about it, right? Like, he is absolutely fantastic. And if there's anybody that I think would benefit the game in terms of, hey, for rosters and what EA does and what they provide, get this person in there. If it's not going to be me, it should be someone like Snipe and Score. It should be someone like Tactics. Even Vassy as well has just emerged this year in terms of rosters, and we've highlighted his rosters before too. There's just an insane amount of passion and talent out there that maybe someday EA will use to their benefits. Not holding my breath on that one. The Birmingham Bulls. At first, I wasn't sure if they were Birmingham, New York, or whatnot, but I kind of like the look that they ended up with. Especially these. It almost, almost like Tri-City Americans-esque, or maybe even like the Kitchener Rangers, just that color scheme, the vibe of that. We have the Buffalo Bulldogs, who do have a very similar red and blue color scheme here. The Dogs of Buffalo, who again, I didn't give him any suggestions on jerseys and looks like that, but let me know in the comments what ones you think he knocked it out of the park with, really, or what teams could be looking a little bit better. I am in no position to judge, given how much work went into this. I do love the Calgary Broncos look, though. It's pretty good. Great alternate jersey as well. I like that he went with the darker alt, kind of course, replicating Calgary of 20 years ago. The Carolina Centurions, because, you know, that's what the logo is, essentially, at least, well, Ottawa. I mean, hey, what are you going to do? Also, love that he stuck with the Carolina Hurricanes look. I really, really like this away set quite a bit. So, pretty good look there for Carolina. We have the Chicago Cougars, who were also a real team from 72 to 75 until they went under. A lot of teams in the WHA folded. A lot. Like, their main goal was like, well, all of these cities don't have teams. Let's try to make it work. And then they discovered why a lot of those cities didn't have teams at that point in time. So the WHA, they have a very interesting legacy and history within the hockey world. So we'll move on beyond Cincinnati. Let's take a look at the Cleveland Crusaders. The lovely purple look for Cleveland. And, you know, decent. The purple and black, not a bad combination whatsoever. Fun fact, the Calgary Broncos never played. They were supposed to play in 72. They didn't. They moved to Cleveland and then played there for 4 years before becoming the Minnesota Fighting Saints, who we'll see a little bit later on. Again, WHA history is hilarious in a lot of ways. It's sad but hilarious. You have the Columbus Cardinals, which, good look. Good uni set. Of course, we just used that logo for a Chicago franchise, if you happen to miss that. We have the Dallas Devils. Had to get away from the Stars green. But the Dallas Devils, big fan of this uni set. This one in particular, very Portland Pirates. Love it. We just passed 7 years since an anniversary that a lot of people don't care about, but I certainly do. 7 years since the city of Portland, Maine lost the AHL's Portland Pirates. And I'm still not over it. One of the best logos, jersey sets ever. And while I love the Maine Mariners of the ECHL, it isn't quite the same, but I do still love them both. The Denver Spurs. Spurs country. Let's ride. Decent jersey set there, too, for Denver. I like it. Like I said, there were some teams where I'm like, okay, let's go with kind of this color scheme. But for the most part, I left it up to Snipe, and I really like kind of what he came up with here. Edmonton. I mean, it's Edmonton, you know? Let's not be expecting anything too crazy here for the Oilers. But, you know, it's Oilers unis. Certainly. Certainly. And again, they were, like I mentioned, one of the 4 teams to kind of jump over. Originally, in the WHA, they wanted more than just Edmonton, Hartford, Quebec, and Winnipeg. Let's take a look at the Hamilton Hounds. They also wanted the Cincinnati Stingers and the Houston Aeros. And, yeah, that did not happen. The NHL said, nah, no thanks. But the Hamilton Hounds of Hamilton, Ontario. Always love giving Hamilton a team whenever we have to create a bunch of teams. As we scroll back down to the team we will be using, the New England/Hartford Whalers. And big fan of the look. And of course, this was the color scheme they used before, you know, what NHL fans learned to kind of know as the Hartford Whalers look, which again, you can't go wrong. You really can't. Whether it was the New England Whalers era, the Hartford Whalers, it was just fantastic across the board. It really, really was. The Houston Aeros, who actually did have this color scheme as well. Their logo was pretty boring. We went with, I think on Snipes rosters, it was an octopus. And I'm like, let's make it a ship because aerodynamics. But honestly, the octopus look was awesome. But great color scheme. They just didn't have a logo, which was really, really weird. I mean, they had a logo, but it was just like a hockey player skating inside of what looks like a guitar pick. It was really weird. Really weird. The Indianapolis Racers, again, of Gretzky fame. Solid color scheme. Very Tri-City Americans for that one. Very, very Tri-City. Beyond Indianapolis, the Kansas City Kings. He obviously went with the Chiefs color scheme. I don't disagree with it. the Kansas City Kings, who, yeah, I got to be honest, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. He did go with that type of alternate as well. But a good look. A good look. Obviously very Calgary Broncos-esque, but hey, it's because you have the same color scheme. Let's go with the Las Vegas Tigres. I said, well, what can we do for Vegas that isn't the Knights? And I'm just like, the White Tigers? And this is what he went with. I did like the Stars. I did like the Stars because it's flashy and it's Vegas. Very Winnipeg Ice in a lot of ways, too. So not a bad look for Vegas. Then there are the Los Angeles Aces. Which, again, you had to have a team. You had to have a team in Los Angeles. And the Los Angeles Aces were real, not rules, by the way. They played in 72, and that was it. There's a lot of teams like that. This franchise technically went from Los Angeles with the Aces to the LA Sharks to the Michigan Stags and then the Baltimore Blades. All of that happened in 3 years. I love the WHA. It's an absolute shit show. Miami as well. Another interesting one in terms of bouncing around. They were supposed to play in 72. They never did. They became the Philadelphia Blazers for a season, and then the Vancouver Blazers, and then the Calgary Cowboys. All of that happened in 5 years. It's incredible that certain teams actually stuck around the whole way. Winnipeg, Phoenix, and a version of the Minnesota Fighting Saints, New England Whalers. So, again, feel free. That's your homework assignment for the day. Look up some WHA history. So we have the Michigan Stags, which, yeah, I like it. I like the red outline on that logo quite a bit. Quite a bit. Michigan, by the way, the Michigan Stags, those were a custom team for us, but I felt like they weren't. They weren't at all. They were real. That's right. After the Stags and the Blades, I was thinking of some of the teams coming up. The Minnesota Fighting Saints, who look like this. I like the scheme. I do. I like the scheme a lot. It's a good jersey set for them. Don't know if we'll play them in a playoff series with the Hartford Whalers, but I hope that we do. I also hope that I haven't missed a team. I don't think that I have. The Montreal Lions. I mean, we had to use the Three Rivers logo, of course. Keep Montreal around. There was no WHA team in Montreal, but solid look here. I mean, obviously still very Habs-esque for them. Sorry, I was just taking a look at some of the WHA names as well and some of the other teams that are coming up. We got the Nashville Jazz, who were a custom creation for this. We needed a team in Nashville. I'm like, what's relevant to Nashville? Music. So the Jazz it is. Because if they got the guitar logo, what the hell was St. Louis going to have? You see the issue? Do you see? The New Jersey Knights, who of course were a real team, because there was the New York Raiders and Golden Blades, and then they became the New Jersey Knights. And then they moved out to San Diego for the final 3 years of their existence. So, again, it's beautiful. WHA, absolutely beautiful. Let's move on beyond New Jersey. The New Orleans Swamp Rabbits, obviously, just a team that we needed to come up with. And I figured New Orleans, Swamp, it's perfect. Went with the Saints color scheme for this as well. But the Swamp Rabbits have graduated from the ECHL to being a staple of the WHA. We have the previously mentioned New York Golden Blades, who lasted a season, not even. Very Lakers era Kings look to the Blades here, but I like it. I like it a lot. He went with the Madison Square Garden roof too, which is also very, very good. And the other New York team, the New York Raiders. Well, obviously we went with more of the Islanders theme with on this one. But the Raiders, got to be honest, I mean, I like the jerseys. I like the scheme. It's tough to go wrong with blue, orange, and white. I mean, unless you don't like the New York Islanders, in which case, well, you could say there's something very wrong with it now, couldn't you? The Dayton/Ohio Arrows, who, fun fact, never played a game and became the Houston Arrows, spelled the other way because WHA. Honestly, the Jets jerseys work really well with these. I like those quite a bit. Quite a bit indeed, but the Ohio Arrows, I don't know if we could have had them in the spotlight position for this series, right? The Oklahoma City Hogs. OKC Hogs, who again have a rather familiar color scheme, but I feel like it works pretty well, especially with that lighter blue. He does like his red and blues. He does, and I'm okay with it. As we scroll down a little bit more, we have the Ottawa Nationals, which were one of two names that the Ottawa team had. You had the Ottawa Nationals. You also had the Ottawa Civics. And yeah, we elected to go with the Nationals name as opposed to the Civics. Honestly, these jerseys remind me a lot, except for this one, of course, which I'm glad he threw in. Snipe is a Sens fan. These remind me a lot of the generic EA Team Russia jerseys that were in these games forever and ever until they got the double IHF license and until Russia did Russia things and got themselves removed from this game, amongst other things, to say the least. Philadelphia Blazers. I don't have a great transition out of that. But the Philadelphia Blazers, of course, we talked about a real blinding jerseys. Absolutely blinding. But they're beautiful. Imagine getting pelted by those wristbands. You thought the Flyers were blinding. We have the Phoenix Roadrunners, obviously replacing the Arizona Coyotes. Phoenix Roadrunners, of course, real, and that's in a lot of ways what the Tucson Roadrunners, of course, are based on. But the Roadrunners, their look for this run, again, classic color scheme too. You can't really go wrong with it. And it was the color scheme of the original Phoenix Roadrunners. Portland Axe, we needed a team for Portland. There's trees there and wood. Portland Axe. There you go. They do have a nice jersey set, though, in this one. I am a fan, mainly because... surprise, surprise, very similar jersey set to what the Portland Pirates once had. I miss them dearly, dearly. The Quebec Nordiques, of course, the classic team. By the way, I saw that the Ramparts sold like 16,000 seats. Can we get an NHL team back in Quebec, please? They've had that new stadium built for almost like 10 years now. For the love of God. I'm hoping for you. I'm hoping for you. For every hockey fan in Quebec that's like, I like the Habs, but my dad grew up a Nordiques fan, and it'd really be nice to root for them. I'm hoping for you. I really am. There should be hockey in Quebec outside of Montreal, of course. Let's see. The Salt Lake City Pioneers. They used to ride these babies for miles. The Pioneers. Whoops. Of Salt Lake City. Very Buffalo Sabres-esque look before, of course, the return to the royal blue. And you see the overalls of these teams as well. I mean, again, not every team's going to be as bad as the others, but these teams suck for the most part. It's again, going to be a very weird few couple of seasons, really. The San Diego Mariners, who very much take on a Padres-inspired look, but gotta be honest, I like it. I feel like these worked out really, really well. I was very tempted to use them based off of the look. So we scroll back down to the San Francisco Sharks, who again were real, but never played before moving to Quebec. Fun fact, the Colorado Avalanche once upon a time were the San Francisco Sharks. Kinda, sort of. I like the Hammerhead alternate as well. Well done. Yeah, San Francisco keeping the Sharks in the NHL. We also have, in honor of, the state flag and everything with the bear, we have the San Jose Grizzlies to not just have the San Jose Sharks. But yeah, the Grizzlies are in. Obviously the Utah Grizzlies logo, or if you're a man of culture, the Seattle Storm Bears logo. Shout out to friend of the channel, X-Tech. Who again, fun facts. I've told the story before. Let's look at the Seattle Spiders. And X-Tech, he gave me a shout out for that first draft of glory and really helped get some attention on it. Who knows where we would be without Brent. Bless him. Bless him, except for the time I went to Vancouver in 2019 and he was too busy to say hi. That still disappoints me to this day. Now he's a dad. If I even get back out there, he's going to be so busy. The St. Louis Rhythm, because rhythm and blues, you see, yeah, that St. Louis music. Haha. Honestly, though, decent color scheme, decent jersey set. I mean, hey, it's not bad. Better jerseys. I mean, kind of similar style, I guess, to what they had with the Reebok Edge designs, or at least the Reebok 1.0s. So there you go. The Tampa Bay tidal wave, because ocean. Yeah. Tampa. Tried to keep them half decent. Honestly, I don't mind the jerseys, though. Very blue. Very blue. But blue is good. What's wrong with blue? Unless you're Angry Joe and you really don't like the color blue. Are these references doing it for you? I don't know. We're almost through this. The Toronto Toros. Will they be able to win in the second round? Find out soon. But also a very similar color scheme for the Toros. But I like it. Again, I wish I could go in reverse alphabetical order, but I cannot. So we will scroll down again to our friends with the Vancouver Vipers, who I think have a pretty good look. It was up to Philadelphia or Vancouver for the Blazers name, since the Blazers existed with both cities. Went for Philadelphia so we could go for the alliteration look and to use this sick-ass logo for Vancouver. I like that alternate jersey a lot. I think it looks fantastic. The final few teams. We have the Washington Phoenix, of course, of Washington, D.C., as very Coachella Valley for the seats, it looks like. But yeah, the black and orange look. Yeah, Washington. Phoenix, Eagles, colors. And our final team, you know them, you love them, might be the logo the real Winnipeg Jets switch back to very soon, apparently. But we have the Winnipeg Jets, and he went with the whiteout look for the seats, which I'm a big fan of. But yeah, there you go. The Winnipeg Jets are back. Those are the 48 teams in our reborn WHA 48-team custom league draft to glory franchise. That's a long title, and it could be a long series with 48 teams all trying to do the same thing. And we'll kick it off in the next episode. For now, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you. If you are new around here, and actually, first and foremost, I'm going to, again, show you the file for Snipe here. But if you are new around here, hey, you got years worth of franchise mode content to catch up on. There is the second channel as well. Link is in the description. TWOGIE24, as you see the deal from Snipe here. And make sure to leave a like on it. Do it. Do it now. But yeah, if you like Madden, MLB, NBA, basically all the other sports games in terms of franchise modes, they are all hosted there. There is also, of course, the Tukey's Take podcast, which you can watch on YouTube or listen to on your audio platform of choice as we talk about hockey all the time. Not really. The term hockey fraudcast has been thrown out there because we talk about hockey sometimes, but not all the time. Yeah. I think that's everything. Twitch.tv/Tukey24. We live stream pretty much every night. Yeah, that's it. All of it. Beautiful. I will see you all very, very soon. Thank you for watching. And let's go Whalers.